65 years ago today, November 14th, 1960, Miss Ruby Bridges integrated the William Frantz Elementary School in New Orleans, Louisiana. But it was not all sunshine and lollipops. We're only told half the story. Come, let's do our homework. Brown v. Board of Education was passed in 1954. 6 years later, in 1960, schools in the South still had not fully integrated. They were fighting hard. They did not want to integrate their schools. So the NAACP got involved, and they asked for volunteers, black families to volunteer to send their students to white schools to help this integration process move along. Ruby Bridges' mother volunteered her. Her dad was reluctant, but her mom insisted, saying that not only would it help Ruby with her education, but the family needed to, quote, take this step forward for all African American children. But these racist Southern whites, they weren't going to make it easy. They decided to force these black children to take a test, an impossibly difficult test that they assumed no one would be able to pass before they'd be allowed to attend the white schools. And chances are my boy here who made this sign wouldn't have passed the test either. He has literally spelled segregation wrong on his sign. But guess who did pass the test? Miss Ruby Bridges, along with 5 other young African-American ladies. And they qualified to go to the white schools. Now, 2 of these little girls decided to stay at the school they were at. 3 others were sent to a different elementary school, and Ruby Bridges was the only girl, the only black girl who was sent to this elementary school. Now, her dad was nervous, but her mom insisted. She knew it was going to be a big day. They borrowed this outfit so that she would be all dressed up and looking cute because they knew it was going to be a monumentous day in history. They pull up to the school, and what do they see? A crowd of angry white people protesting her presence, throwing things at her, shouting. Now, Ruby was only 6, so she didn't fully understand what was going on. She says in retrospect that she thought it was some kind of parade or gathering, maybe even Mardi Gras. She didn't realize all of this was for her and against her and about her. So she just walks right into the school. She was accompanied by these 4 federal marshals, not just on this day, but on every day of school for the rest of the year because the protesters did not go away. Ruby spent the first day of school in the principal's office because there was such chaos around the school that no teaching was happening. All the white students were being yanked out of school by their parents. All of the teachers refused to teach as long as this black girl was in the building. Only one teacher, Barbara Henry, agreed to teach this little black girl. So on the second day of class, what happened? Ruby Bridges was alone in class with Barbara Henry teaching her. None of the other white parents would allow their white children to be in a classroom with this little black girl. They had a private class for the rest of the year. She was the only student in the entire class. The protests of the white students didn't stop, and neither did the angry white mob. They stayed outside the school and continued to protest this little girl the entire year. The marshals continued to escort her, and there was one particular person in the crowd who made an insidious threat. She kept threatening to poison Ruby Bridges' lunch. Ruby was so scared she stopped eating. The federal marshals advised her not to eat the school lunch, to only eat food that she brought from home. So every day she would pack her little lunch, carry it with her into her classroom that her mom packed for her, and hide it in a janitor's closet so nobody could get to it to poison her. Not only was there psychological fallout from all this abuse and torture on Ruby, but also the rest of the family. Ruby's dad was fired from his job as the gas station attendant. Ruby's grandparents, who were sharecroppers, were pushed off their land. Ruby's mom was not allowed to shop at the local grocery store anymore. And the stress of all of this pulled the family apart. Ruby's parents ended up getting a divorce. As predicted, this was a seminal moment in American history, and Ruby Bridges and Barbara Henry stayed in touch throughout the years. And guess what? They're both still alive. They've stayed friends. In 2010, Ruby Bridges went back to the elementary school for the 50th anniversary of this event. And in 2011, Ruby Bridges met President Barack Obama. And he said to her, quote, "I think it's fair to say that if it hadn't been for you guys, I might not be here, and we wouldn't be looking at this together." Of course, Obama was talking about the famous painting that Norman Rockwell made to commemorate the events, along with some very triggering graffiti on the wall, a smashed tomato, but the ever stoic Ruby Bridges. So when people try to tell you that this was a long time ago and to get over it, just remember, Participants of this event are still alive. They remember this happening, and it is a part of our shared history.